What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is episode 487 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Tuesday. Believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, I have not been sacked from Timcast. That was a parody account telling me that I got fired for being a conspiracy theorist. And we probably work at the place where you are the least likely in the world to get fired for being a conspiracy theorist. It's almost a requirement for the job.
That would have to be like the most. No, actually, okay. So I'm gonna actually push back on that a little bit, right? So I actually somebody mentioned that to me recently about like they like multiple people had like equated like working here in conspiracy theories. And I'm like, dude, every time I go on IRL, all they're talking about is boring ass current events and news.
Well, sometimes, like, I think the last time I was on, the first time I was on with Michael Knowles, Ian just kind of took the reins and everyone started talking about the pyramids and ancient aliens and...
Let's mainstream.
Sacred geometry, which, yeah, that's all mainstream enough for YouTube, but I was totally out of...
Your depth?
My depth with that discussion. So it does go there sometimes.
Yeah.
Ian does admittedly humiliate himself to promote graphene.
We saw that the other day, that Ian does in fact humiliate himself to promote graphene. I'm double checking to make sure that the crisis meter is working. So let's double check that.
Why isn't it working?
The super chats have showed up, but the crisis meter...
Well, it's been delayed for a while now.
Not the crisis meter, but the actual money guns need to actually go off. We'll have to wait and see if one of them goes off soon. It says they're working, so we'll hold off on that. We'll hope it goes through. But guys, we got a bunch. There it is. There it goes, guys. Just went off there. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. It's going to be a lot of fun. MrBeast is back in the news. He is canceled again. Because when you're MrBeast and you do something that's nice, thank you, and you do something that's nice for other human beings, you're then called a bad person because the world we live in wants you to solve all your problems with government. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about his
bizarre dating life. We found out what it takes to become Mrs. Beast. He listed his requirements for dating.
Gotta look feastable, I'm sure.
And a lot of people are mad about it.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that. Taylor Swift. Okay, so guys, we've talked a lot about Israel and Palestine lately. It's a big part of pop culture because a lot of celebrities have weighed in on it. So it's not just current events and news or war. It's the American pop culture battleground right now as celebrities fight over what it means for the world as they all try to issue their statements on it. Well, right now, one person who isn't issuing a statement, very, very smartly, is Taylor Swift, who is being pulled into it by a hashtag called #Swifties for Palestine. If that sounds like we're beyond parody, it's not. It's absolutely real. And we also, Mary uncovered this conspiracy theory from 2013 that says that Taylor Swift was actually a secret 4chan lurker. And if you think that the QAnon people go far away, do you see this graph that they showed? I couldn't even make sense of any of it. It's crazy. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about a bunch of controversies related to the Real Housewives, which, shocking, yes, I know. But apparently it's a breeding ground for exploitation of people in their drunkenness, and there's racism. It's all this evil, NIMBY, white upper class metropolitan lifestyle. Lots of NIMBY bad behavior from these women. So we're going to get into it in their complaints that go against the Bravo network. So before we get started, guys, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already? We're on our way to 75,000 subscribers, so you should go ahead and join us if you are not one yet. Remember to turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime a new episode goes live, like the one that just started, or a new segment goes up Monday through Friday at 8, 10, and noon. Also, please remember that you can ask your friends to join us. I want people to come in here that don't normally watch, come in here and hang out with us. And remember, all Super Chats $20 and over. Mary just opened a can.
Yes.
You good? All Super Chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there, and then we'll get back on topic. So, Mary, now that all of that has been said, are you ready to get started?
So ready.
She is ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, first things first, and this is good news, at least as far as I'm concerned. The first trailer for season 2 of Reacher has come out. I want everyone to watch this. As you guys know, I made a very big deal as this is so one of the things we asked recently as like a grading scale is, would you watch it again? Like whenever we watch a new movie, would you watch it again? This is the only thing created in maybe the last 8 years that I've watched more than once. And it wasn't just a movie, it was a whole 8 or 10 episode arc of a TV show. So that's about the highest rating I can give something. So let's go ahead and check this out.
The same song as Guardians of the Galaxy
it's
3.
The song Crazy on You. It's Heart, right? So
trailers are all the same these days.
No, but I'll give them credit.
Also, one of the promo pictures had like him turned away from the camera and it says Reacher's back.
Yes. I want to point out first that he might be the closest we have to like a new action star. He looks like an action star.
What's his name again? Alan Ritchson?
Yeah. From Blue Mountain State, from Reacher, he was in the last Fast and the Furious movie. He's about as close as we've got to like somebody who looks like a certifiable Arnie or Stallone style action star in today's day and age. And a bunch of other things that I saw there. First things first, you only see him for a quick second. The guy who gets his head bashed in by when he hits the car and sets off the airbag. That's Dominic Lombardozzi. And you also see Robert Patrick of Terminator fame and Serinda Swan, who I'm a big fan of because she was in both Breakout Kings as well as Graceland, and then she did that Inhumans show that nobody watched. But she's great, and these are all great actors to end up in this series because what it was is like they didn't bring back the cast from the first season other than him because he's going to a new location now. So it's a different story, which is sad because I would have liked to have seen Malcolm Goodwin, but I don't think he would have fit in with this story. But it's no nonsense. It's not a lot of BS. It looks like an action show made for fans of the genre. It doesn't look, nothing looks out of place. It doesn't look like it's harping too hard on identity politics.
Where did you see any identity politics
I didn't see any that I could think of. There could end up being
Was there
some
any in
the
the first season?
No, there wasn't. Like the great thing about the first season, right, is like
don't go in with
yeah,
that searching for something to be wrong.
The first season actually allowed him to be like extremely competent, extremely capable. The female character is still very capable herself, but still relies, has to get help from him on multiple occasions. They even allow them to like get together, which I couldn't believe they even allowed to do because most of the action heroes today seem to end up sexless and, not exactly.
Is it because this is Amazon Prime producing it? You think?
I think that Amazon Prime, one of the things I've pointed out on more than one occasion is they're pretty good about leaving the action, like the Tom Clancy movie with Michael B. Jordan, Without Remorse, was bad, but pretty much everything else they've done, like this and Terminalist, were all really, really good. So as long as they're not in the sci-fi or the like the high fantasy genre, like when they tried to do Lord of the Rings, it seems like they allow it to be what it needs to be without making too many changes. And I think that the people who are making this stuff understand that the target demographic for this show is always going to be this kind of me, right? It's the older or the older white dudes.
I didn't see the first season.
Yeah.
I probably don't plan on watching
I'm gonna review it. I will review it separately.
It's not for me.
No, it's not
what a
for
relief.
you, right? So I will end up reviewing it. I was really a fan of it. I really love the color grading. It's darker, but it's done in a way that fits the story tone. He's in ridiculous shape. I remember watching this video recently where they were talking about like the workout routine that he had to do for this, as well as the Fast and the Furious. And I was like, I don't know if it needs to be that intense, but the dude, he takes his job seriously, right? And he understands that he needs to look good on camera. Therefore,
is he on the roids?
Oh, I think he talks about being on TRT, like he's on testosterone, like replacement therapy and stuff like that. So, he looks like an action star. It looks like a show made for action fans. I recommend everyone check it out when it comes out. It comes out December 15th. Like I said, the fact that I watched season 1 more than once, that is about as high of a recommendation as you can give something these days when so little of what comes out. It was a question. I was on a podcast last night called Forge and Anvil, and one of the things that was asked was what actually has replay value these days. And I think like Christian Toto said Megan was the last thing that he watched multiple times that he really liked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that, actually.
Yeah. But like, there's very little that's made so much of entertainment today feels so unbelievably disposable. Make it quick, get it out there. Most of it looks fine because Hollywood just has so much infrastructure that even the stuff that they puke out looks mildly okay to the untrained eye or a passing audience member.
The only newer show that I have enjoyed is The Bear.
There you go.
That's it.
And that just got approved for season 3. So that's going to.
But I mean,
going.
we already knew that. I don't know why people are looking at those headlines like, oh, I'm so excited. Like I already knew that was going to get renewed.
Also, that show probably had a small it looks cheap.
It's
to
small
make.
budget.
It doesn't look expensive to make.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like they're in a kitchen and it's a couple of set.
They're in a
pieces.
kitchen or they're in apartments.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
Not expensive to make. So yeah, guys, check it out when it comes out December 15th. I'm looking forward to that one. All right, so if you
guys, do you remember NFTs?
God, it feels like a fever dream. Doesn't that feel like a lifetime ago?
It does.
When NFTs mattered?
I remember derailing one of my classes in college by asking my professor who loved to chit chat what an NFT was. And that just derailed our whole class time, and everyone was like, "Thank you so much."
So tell me this, Mary. Do you know anyone? I'm wondering if anybody in the chat is anybody in the chat today. Have they purchased themselves an
Do we
NFT?
have any apes in the chat
Are there
today?
any apes in the chat? Oh, also, guys, I asked a very important question today in the chat. In the poll, I asked, "How do you cut your sandwiches? Diagonally or horizontally?" Right now, it's pretty dead even. 59% say diagonally. So
I don't think I cut sandwiches at all.
A lot of people were saying, how dare you leave out not cutting
It's
them at all.
complicated.
It's definitely complicated.
Okay, so there was a Bored Ape NFT conference convention recently, and a bunch of guys who went ended up going blind because they used UV lights on the stage lighting. They had to go to the emergency room. Some people are saying this is poetic justice because people who own Bored Ape NFTs don't respect art, so they might as well go blind. It's very
I would love to get George Alexopoulos.
Aesop's Fables, but in 2023.
Remember when Trump looked up at the...
Yeah, nothing happened to him. Superhuman. Melania did it too.
Yeah.
But she already squints all the time, so no one can tell.
Yes. I saw this thing earlier where it said on Evie that was pointing out what is the surgery that makes all these women make a facial expression that looks like they just smelled something bad. And now
what is it?
It's
okay.
And so because it showed all these celebrities who all these female
It's the eyebrow lift, right?
It's that, and it's at the nose, and they all look like they just smelled a skunk. And now I can't unsee it when I look at them. Mm-hmm. I imagine Melania was making that face while looking up at the sun, just like the people from Bored Ape on their yacht.
Yeah. So they said, apes, we're aware of the eye-related issues that affected some attendees at Ape Fest.
Ape Fest.
And I've been proactively reaching out to individuals since yesterday to find out the potential root causes. Based on our estimates, we believe less than 1% of attendees and workers on the event had symptoms. While nearly everyone has indicated their symptoms have improved, we encourage anybody who feels them to seek medical attention just in case.
And buy an NFT about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, how much do those cost now?
I have no idea.
Have they majorly
ask Logan Paul.
Depreciated? Did anyone sink their entire life savings into buying NFTs?
Not a good. It was so big in 2021. It was so big in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Everyone thought they were the future.
They were not. They were not. And then you get Logan Paul.
Well, they thought that it was the next Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
It is definitely not the next Bitcoin, which has seemed to have stabilized recently. So somebody's saying PCC NFTs. Yes, we should make our own NFTs.
It's a little late to the game for that.
For the memes.
Yeah.
So
speaking
guys,
of late,
yes,
there is a Barbenheimer low-budget B movie being made by Charles Band. It says that this is going to be about a scientist doll in Dolltopia who tries to take out humanity with a nuclear bomb.
Makes perfect sense. Said,
do you plan on watching this?
It's a D Cups A bomb. That was the head.
D Cups A bomb.
Do I plan to watch this? It depends. If it ends up on a streaming service that I don't have to pay for the movie for, I might check it out. But it says Dr. Bambi J. Barbenheimer. That's her name. She's from Dolltopia.
Let the meme die. You know, it was nice while it lasted. It's over now. It's over.
Her boyfriend is Twink Dollman.
I actually am excited for the Thanksgiving Addison Rae slasher.
When does that come out? It's got to come out soon. Thanksgiving is coming up.
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Okay. So like
maybe
right
we should review that.
Possible. Oh, they're asking, is it a porno? No, it's not a porno. No. I'm sure that exists.
But Addison Rae has that final girl physiognomy.
She's the last living person?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wouldn't she be? She could also be the first girl to die.
She looks like the innocent popular girl.
She could also be the girl that dies first.
I hope not. She had a very small
she's not slutty
part
enough
in the trailer, but she's supposed to be like starring or co-starring in it.
She's not slutty enough to die first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She has a pure face.
All right. There you go. Fair enough. All right. Doja Cat. She needs to get either off the meds or on the meds, depending on what the meds are.
Uh-huh.
Now, let's watch this clip real quick.
You guys, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I feel like that was really mean for me to do that.
Wait, what makes it mean?
She was raspberrying you.
Okay.
Make that video. That was like really disturbing. I'm serious.
Who is laughing in the background? Encouraging this behavior.
My guess is, she had decided to partake in some stuff that doesn't normally enter your body in the course of your daily life. And the said reaction was this. That's just a guess.
She releases the Sam Hyde t-shirt selfie, loses public favor. Then she puts out the album and everyone forgets about it. She's in good graces again. And then she does something like this.
Yes. Phil Labonte, lead singer of All That Remains, failed singer. He said that Doja Cat has like the best Instagram to follow right now.
I guess this is what he's into. This is what makes Phil laugh.
It's right up his alley.
Love that.
And then somebody says, why does Doja Cat look like Josh Dobbs? And
we're sick of the quirky and alternative humor.
Not gonna lie, I need her plug's number, says somebody. In the chat, BLT says I can fix her.
She might actually be insane. No, she's actually insane.
No. She partied a little too hard, and this is the reaction. It happened.
Also, I didn't know that she had that mole on her face, unless it's fake.
Okay. Here's a question. Is there a guy on planet Earth that would ever wear a fake mole? Do you think there's guys in Hollywood who would like put a fake mole on?
Dan Savage?
Maybe. I don't know.
He literally did that, right?
Is that the one who did that?
Yes. Remember?
For what?
Or, I'm sorry, no, it was not him. Frick. Who was the kid from Wonder Years?
Ben Savage?
Sorry.
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage.
Yes. I was like, who the hell is Ben Savage?
No.
Okay.
We got a super chat about it yesterday. Did you watch Austin Powers?
The movie? Yes.
Yeah, he was in the sequel.
I've seen the original more than I've seen The Spy Who Shagged Me or whatever the second one was.
Yeah.
Goldmember. The original was The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh,
the sequel was
right.
Goldmember. I think I saw the original more than I saw Goldmember.
Yeah, they really had everyone in that movie. Beyonce didn't need to be there. Britney Spears was in it. Yeah. Tom Cruise was in it.
No, this is good for that.
How? How is that possible?
Because those types of cameos made for like irreverent clips.
It was literally every cameo that you could think of.
And also, guys, if you're wondering, Ben Affleck is still sad.
Yeah.
He is.
New Ben Affleck being sick of life image just dropped, except this time he's holding a Starbucks cup instead of Dunkin' Donuts.
Even Starbucks can't make him happy.
He's not brand loyal?
No. He's like, even Starbucks can't brighten his day. That's just sad. Like,
why did he break up with J-Lo in the first place?
I have no idea why. I imagine she broke up with him the first time.
You do?
I do.
You assume that?
She's been married 5 times. Yes.
Wasn't it more like 12?
She's
at least been engaged 12 times.
She's got like the infinity stones on all her fingers and they're all expensive diamonds from the various men she's married. I imagine she left him the first time around. He doesn't look happy. He looks very, very sad.
Or just sleep deprived. I don't know. We're worried about you, Ben Affleck.
He's I actually reposted the there was the video the other day. It's of him when they're going to the car.
Where he slams the car door on her.
It's when she's being a handful, but you still love her.
Is that relatable?
Yes, it's very relatable. He looked very upset there when that happened. He doesn't look happy. Maybe sleep deprived is better. That's maybe what it is we're projecting how we feel that he
why
feels
else would he be going out for coffee?
Yeah.
But I don't understand why he keeps making these outings. Have your assistant do it.
This is saying that it's from 2018.
Oh, okay.
He looks younger here. Okay. So they're saying that this is an old photo, but it is funny.
But the grays are accelerating these days.
Yeah.
After getting back with J-Lo.
A little bit. All right. I want to talk a little bit, guys, about the show Echo, which is coming out very, very soon. I want to talk about it because it is being released on both Hulu and Disney Plus. It's not just coming out on one platform or the other. And one of the directors from the show has made a couple of what I would call concerning comments towards the material they're working with. Her name is Sydney Freeland. She also worked on Reservation Dogs. I almost said Reservoir Dogs. She worked on Reservation Dogs.
I assume she's Native American as well.
So
it's really important to her that Echo is a deaf Native American woman.
Yes, I want to read through a little bit of what is said here. It says, Echo's powers are similar to that of Taskmaster in the comics. The problem is what the director said here is that the powers were lame, so they just changed them, which is very, very annoying.
And we don't know what that means yet.
It says, she gained Daredevil's acrobatic abilities and Bullseye's uncanny aim after watching tapes of their fights, which is why she's a worthy adversary. However, this is apparently not happening in the MCU. As Echo is deaf, a female, and Native American, Freeland says that representation matters. Quote, representation was extremely important to myself and to everyone on the crew. First of all, can you imagine just being one of these crew members who's just struggling to get by?
Especially with the strikes.
And these
you read
people
this,
are just lecturing you about all this stuff that doesn't affect your bottom line at all.
You're I care more about my bartending job than this MCU show.
It added representation was important in the show as well as efforts were made to ensure, quote, a high level of authenticity during production. The problem is they changed the power set and make it completely different from the comics because you decided that it was inconvenient and boring for the screen. So how important was it to you really for that to be something that you were willing to change so haphazardly? I don't buy that as being what they call high authenticity. The other thing is when you really think about it, if you're not a weirdo identity politics obsessed person from Hollywood, if you were a guy growing up, you didn't read a comic or watch a movie because of the representation. You watched it to see cool powers and see how characters used cool powers to interact with other characters and make fights and cool explosions happen on screen. Mm-hmm. Not this other stuff. It's this weird fundamental disconnect that they don't know who they're making the media for. It's almost like they realize that what their job is and they don't realize what their job is. They realize what's important to them, but it never makes it past there, not realizing that your job is not just to make stuff that's important to you. It's supposed to make stuff that resonates with the people who are tuning in to watch it. And none of the people that grew up reading Marvel Comics, who, make no mistake about it, are the only ones who are going to know who the character was in the first place because it's such an obscure character. They didn't grow up reading comics. And none of the ones that actually liked this character liked her just because she was Native American or because she was deaf or missing a leg.
So
they
is
liked
that
her
authentic?
because she had cool yes.
Those parts were part of the original character. Okay. It just seems like this is approaching a self-insert, given that they say Maya Lopez becomes a villain due to her her family trauma.
I mean, well, in the comics, she is the adopted child of Kingpin, so that's fairly accurate. But it says representation was extremely important to me and to everyone on the crew, she said at a press event. It added representation to the show as well as efforts were made to make this well. Maya is very vulnerable in a very vulnerable emotional place. She's got all the bottled up emotion and rage feelings inside of her. They did a good job of displaying that in the trailer. I will not deny that. They did a good job of showing visceral fight scenes.
Okay,
and
but
stuff.
then when you look at the Hollywood Reporter's article, it says Maya Lopez has to face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she hopes to move forward with her life.
And this is one of the problems that I responded to a post that Neon from Clownfish TV made recently. How many times do these actors and these directors write these or like get these interviews that talk about this stuff, right? And then it ends up being like 0.0% of the show, right? They end up shooting themselves in the foot because they write these articles that are supposed to be supposedly promotion for these films that are supposed to tell us about all of these social causes that the show or the movie is going to help promote. And then you watch it and it's just a typical blockbuster action movie, or it's just a typical Marvel television show.
Well, they're trying to make it not the typical Marvel show because it's the first one that's been rated mature. And they said it's a little on the grittier side of Marvel, shows what Marvel is capable of. It's a new direction for the brand, especially for Disney Plus. Yeah. So they're trying to make it more realistic. People on the show die.
Which is just what they did.
Real world consequences exist in the show. It's not a CGI heavy. It's more in the real world.
Which is what they were doing on Marvel Netflix, right? So they're going to start over with Marvel Netflix. They're putting it on both Disney Plus and Hulu. And the other way that you know that they don't have a whole ton of faith in this show is that they're dumping all 5. First of all, it's only 5 episodes.
That's insane.
And they're dumping all 5 of them.
Are they all like an hour long?
And they're dumping all 5 of them at the same time. They're not doing weekly releases for any of these. And anybody who pays attention to this medium or pays attention to how Hollywood works, if they had strong feelings about the show doing well with the audience, they would want to keep it in the news cycle for as long as possible, which is why so many of those Disney Plus shows got a 2-episode start and then an episode a week until the end of the series. That was this character debuted in Hawkeye, which I actually is the only of the series that I liked, and that was back in 2021. And those came out, like a couple episodes came out first, and then they had once a week leading up to Christmas because the show, like that miniseries, was themed around Christmas, so it fit for the time of year. They've shown no such similar confidence in this production. And
well, do you think that the way they're promoting it is primarily because the director is responsible for doing the media instead of the actors?
No, because this is only one. This is a 5-episode miniseries. As far as I know, this woman, Sydney Freeland, she only directed 1 episode, according to IMDb. So there's 4 other.
Why are they interviewing her?
I have no idea. And it made me think about there's like this fundamental, because she talks about representation in front of and behind the screen. And we're going to talk about it later too, about like the desire to get more women behind the camera, which is an admirable goal as long as you're actually taking it on meritocratic grounds that
Why is that an admirable goal?
I said as long as you're focusing on the meritocracy first, right?
But that's inherently that inherently flies in the face of meritocracy if you're looking to get more women behind the camera.
So
what I'm saying is like, if you're not focusing on getting better directors instead of focusing on quotas, they're not doing it in a meritocratic way.
No, I mean, I haven't seen this yet, so I have no idea what her skill level is or anything like that. I don't know if they got
I'm not saying it's impossible to find a diversity hire who's good at their job. Yeah. But if you're looking for diversity hires in the first place, it's obviously not meritocratic. Let
me rephrase. It's a desire born out of an admirable idea, but wouldn't be admirable in practice because it would fly in the face of someone actually getting the job solely based on their talent, right? Mm-hmm. So what's interesting is like when I read these interviews, it seems like the women want to focus on the representation and on the diversity because those are the issues in these stories about her background and stuff. That matters to them, right? What men care about are cool powers, cool fight scenes, and interesting characters that look cool. And the medium was designed in the past to be shown to men because they were the primary buyers of the books. Now, it's the same thing we talk about with why this is going to fail and stuff like Barbie isn't, because you're promoting an idea for a series that's aimed towards women, but it's being marketed to men, so it's just blah. It's nothing. And I don't know where you go with that. I don't know how you fix it. All you really have to do in a situation like this is say her character overcomes tremendous odds. She's got cool powers. She even the family trauma part doesn't have to sound like a buzzword, right? Like she overcomes the sins of her father to become a better hero, something like that, right? You don't need to couch it in this very, very modern language that just drives people away. Right? Especially when you think about the trailer, which was the opposite of what she's doing here, which was very dark, very violent. Like the article and the things that they're focusing on seem to fly in the face of what the trailer actually showed us, which is why I believe that they cut that trailer together hastily to kind of cover for the fact that Disney had this crappy article come out from Variety that was making Marvel look really, really bad. And I just feel like these marketing departments have not learned what actually gets people excited to watch stuff. They can't seem to figure that out. And the young lady who starred in this, she's obviously they're on strike right now, so she cannot give any press or any interviews.
Yeah, like a director is not going to be as media trained as the actor.
It's it's annoying because they talk about how authenticity matters to that. She talks about how authenticity matters, but they will race, gender, and sexuality swap whenever they can, whenever it fits the narrative for what they want to push. So authenticity doesn't matter to them. The agenda matters to them. And that's very, very frustrating to see them kind of use such a claim while very clearly not living up to those ideals when they're going ahead with stuff like this.
Like if they can't race swap, they're going to just swap the character's powers.
Yeah.
Instead, they have to swap something.
Like even the idea that they call it boring is annoying to me. It's like as a writer and director, you should look at that as a challenge, not as something to just change.
I didn't even think that the powers she described were lame.
They weren't. They're cool. That's the problem. But that's the thing.
Why was the character popular in the first place?
I think a guy. Well, I mean, she's a pretty C or D-list character. I think guys would read that and think that sounds cool. I think a girl reads that and it's not very interesting to her.
Well, that's a good point, though. Why are they making a bunch of shows about D-list characters?
Because they want to save the A-list ones for nothing because they're not doing them anymore. They're
what's the point?
They did, instead of making the Falcon movie, they decided to make they decided to make Sam Captain America, knowing that it's not going to work the same way it would as if they had Chris Evans or just recast. And even then, like, it's probably too soon for something like that. You can't bring back those characters. It's a mess, and I think they believe that they had done so well for so long that the Marvel machine was enough to prop up C and D list characters. And what they're realizing now is, yes, people went there for Marvel, but in the absence of a bunch of like grand slams in a row, you would need Captain America to bring them back to the box office. You would need Iron Man to bring them back to the box office. You cannot prop up C and D list characters on the Marvel name alone anymore because there's none of the goodwill that used to exist there from the fans because of all the flops that have come out recently. So, all right, what would you like to see? Cute or cringe of the day?
You decide.
Okay, I'll decide today. We'll do cringe first, and then we'll fix it with cute of the day afterwards. So Mary showed me this earlier. Do you want to describe to everyone what is going on here?
There is a woman on top of a parking garage across the street from a prison, twerking for the inmates to see through the window.
Right?
This girl went to the top of a parking garage to twerk to the prisoners across the street, and they're flashing there. Lights.
I don't know if the song is copyrighted, but they're not getting that.
Why? Caption said, "Does this count as community service?" It's gotta be her husband in there, right?
Must be.
Yeah.
He's in the cell over there.
But then you're gonna give a show to everyone else, too, in the process.
I can't believe that.
Yikes.
It's, oi. Okay. All right. I actually have one more, and I'm just going to show the headline because it's so ridiculous. I found this last week. Helen Mirren says that a feminist awakening holds the key to Middle East peace.
Oh, great.
Doesn't that sound fantastic? No? Doesn't interest you? says, gosh, that's an incredibly, they asked her, they said, how would you fix the horrible situation with the Israel-Hamas war? That was their question to her. She says, gosh, that's an incredibly difficult question because you don't want to be naive and silly, of course. One hopes for peace. Mirren told the Friends of Simon Center during an appearance on Wednesday, she says, honestly, ultimately, I'm going to say I look forward to women taking a stronger place in life because I think that may be our hope for the future. So Helen Mirren believes that if you want things to be better in Israel and Palestine, the force is female.
Why are we asking Helen Mirren how to solve geopolitical crises?
Because she's Helen Mirren.
Why would they ask her that in an interview?
I have no idea.
All right.
Just
cool.
Just thought you'd like to see that. Don't worry, guys. We also have Cute of the Day as well. Also, guys, we're about halfway to a crisis party. I would like to see a crisis party today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We got one here from, is that Yamil or Yamil? I don't know how to pronounce that, buddy. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. It says, if it fits, it sits. Again, this is Princess Buttercup. What's with cats in boxes? I opened a case of cat food, and she was there in seconds to sit on the boxes.
I think that cats sit in boxes because they believe it's like protection.
Perhaps.
It's like a hidey hole.
I mean, I don't know about sitting in boxes, but Bocus, he will sit on any box.
If you tape a square on the ground, cats will sit in it.
Will they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, build the wall. What
What
a cute cat, though.
Like in the summer when the air conditioning went out here, they had two large standing air conditioning units delivered, and they were sitting in that front entranceway forever. And Bocus would just sit on one of them and stare creepily upwards at everyone on the second level of the castle. And then finally they took one of those and they set it up. So there was one left, and there was a bunch of tools sitting on it for days at a time. And one day, I moved the tools and he sat on them, and then he looked at me with, I know what love felt like after I moved the tools and gave him a place to sit.
What a sweetie.
Yes. All right, let's do one more. This is from Tacty Vlad. He says, here's my sister's cat helping me do laundry. She's also a supporter of Justice for Mocha. Well, that disqualifies her right there. There will be no Justice for Mocha on this podcast. I'm sorry. But yes, if it fits, it sits.
This is a running theme.
It is. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Now that we are 40 minutes into the show, not too bad. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on with MrBeast?
So MrBeast recently put out a video of him doing more of his philanthropy work. He funded the construction of 100 wells in different countries in Africa. And I'm sure you remember when he put out that other video where he cured thousands of people from blindness by paying for their surgeries. And a lot of people called him the Antichrist for that. I don't think he's the Antichrist, but he's not responding to the backlash very well on this one. Not that I agree with the backlash either, but he's kind of made a mistake by calling this a cancellation moment for him.
No, I think this is planned. I think this was done for this exact reason.
You think that he does charity work just to get hate?
No, I think the tweet was done to promote interest in the project.
Right, I didn't even see that many negative comments before I went and saw his own tweet about it. He's kind of drudging up more negativity than is warranted and fishing for compliments.
I don't know. I don't think it's fishing for compliments. I don't think he takes the time to read any of this stuff. I think it's fishing for eyes on the product so that more people will watch.
If he's not reading the comments, how would he know that people are mad? He's tweeted,
he can look at
I
headlines.
already know I'm gonna get canceled because I uploaded a video helping people, and to be 100% clear, I don't care. I'm always going to use my channel to help people and inspire my audience to do the same. So a lot of people are mad about the video itself and his response taking the focus away from the philanthropy work. This one says, MrBeast at his big age still can't see what's wrong with this framing. Tackily packaging a myth, mostly to children, that Africans are helpless, featureless subjects of his kindness, that Africa can only be helped by a white celebrity who's amassed immense wealth first.
Let's break that down here first. So basically he went to Africa, he built 100 wells, he helped a crap ton of people. Yes, there was a lot of shots in the video. If you guys go, you can go and check it out. It's on his main channel. It's not on his philanthropy channel. He has other videos from the same area on his philanthropy channel. And yes, there are a lot of shots of like the kids when he arrives, like treating him like a god almost.
Yeah.
And those shots are, in a lot of ways, like, they make me roll my eyes. But I get the jig, right? I get what the point of it is you're establishing a story here of what you've done for the people here. And also, is he supposed to not include it? Like, is the idea that this happened and he's supposed to just not include it at all? Because he's like, oh, that's too blasé.
Well,
this is what actually happened, so it doesn't matter.
One of the main takeaways that people had from his video is it's insane that a YouTuber has to go build wells in Africa instead of their local governments handling
or even,
that.
Even our government, like even our government.
Yes.
Our government spends $8 billion.
Flint still doesn't have clean water.
I've heard that that's not true anymore, but I'm not
I don't know.
certain. But our government spends like $8 billion a year in aid, giving aid to Africa. And these things
and where
go
does it
unanswered.
go?
And where does it go?
It just
right?
disappears.
So what it is, I think a lot of it is that he shines a light on the shortcomings of government, right? So these people look at it as evil capitalism, but what he's actually shining a light on is the inefficiency and failure of graft and government.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think that they like that because
which it's not articulated in that way, but still when people watch the video, they learn that from
It'd be funny if he started making like MrBeast passive aggressive videos. He's like, sure would be great if Joe Biden could come over here and build a well, but I guess not. Oh, sure would have been great if Donald Trump would have built a few wells here in Africa, but I guess not.
I think that he had good intentions and self-interested motivations, just like anybody who does charity work.
When
so
you like capitalism,
what is the difference?
Charity through like that's the beauty of it, right? Is like when you create something of value and you give to someone else, it is not inherently bad for you to reap the benefits from it in another way, right? So he goes to a foreign country, he gives them something incredible that will hopefully last them a very, very long time. He benefits by gaining publicity for his brand and uses the proceeds, because he talks about it in this video, the proceeds from this video are going to build more wells. Should you be curious about whether the money actually gets there? Yes, I think everybody should actually look at everyone who claims to be doing philanthropic work with a questionable eye, right? You shouldn't just take anybody at face value. But the idea that somebody is to be blanket criticized because they're not giving back to the world in the way that you would, which would be by saying tax me harder, daddy, right? Like that's what they're saying.
They're like, he's not recognizing the systemic issues that were interplayed to get to the point where these people didn't have a well. And it's like, that's not in a YouTuber's purview.
No. And at the end of the day, his job is to make content. This part of the channel is to make content and help other people.
He does charity work ever without publicizing it?
I'm loath to speculate. But here, the better question is, would you have a problem if the only time he did charity work was to help others, was to gain publicity? Does that bother you?
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but that's certainly the image that he's putting out there.
Yeah. Like, I don't see any, like, it doesn't bother me when people give to other causes and then promote it in that way. I don't get it. I don't get it when the other options are so inefficient and so poorly handled. Like, these people aren't going, like, people in Africa aren't going to care where it comes from. They just want the help, and there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make him, are they basically saying he's a sellout? What are they saying here?
Well, here, let's read some of these criticisms. MrBeast is never realizing why people criticize him. Hey man, I don't like the disingenuous and disconnected nature of some of your videos. It can feel phony. But I made people see again. Yeah, I have no issue with that part. Guess I'm canceled.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, canceled as a word has no meaning anymore because people will just slap that term on any time that they're getting criticized for anything as a way to not address it. Another one said, we don't give an F that you're helping people. We just rather you didn't make 90% of the runtime shots of Kenyan children treating you like you're a god while doing the bare minimum to address issues surrounding why they need wells in the first place.
It's not his job to do that. He's not making an
He's not the
video.
UN.
He's not making an educational video. He's making a video of he himself going to a foreign country and helping them. I don't know what you want from him in this respect. Somebody else was saying this isn't altruism. I'm like the point is that somebody was helped, right? If the idea is that you base everything on intentions and not outcomes, then you get a lot of horrible things have been done in the world with great intentions. I'm not looking at his intentions. I'm looking at the outcome of what happened. You're thinking,
I would rather he do something good with bad intentions than something bad with good intentions.
Yes. Yeah.
Although we would hope it's good intentions and good outcome.
I would rather for both, and I guess that's kind of a scary binary to put somebody in, like, situation wise. Like, what is the bad intentions and what is the good
bad
outcome?
Intentions, I suppose, are. They think he's self-aggrandizing.
Yes.
They think that he's selfish.
I would rather he go in selfishly with the hope of growing his brand to new heights and help some people who are struggling than have him go in and try to. What would be the opposite of that? Like, go in and say, like, I don't care if it helps me as long as I do something good, and then nothing good gets done.
Like, how would he have the money and resources to do any of this if he didn't publicize it?
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the catch-22. And this is the thing that I always point out that happens, like when you see the leftists who advertise their Kickstarter campaigns, and they make sure you see on the pie chart that none of the money will be a profit because they believe profit is a dirty word, and they don't believe in making any money because they believe all things like that are inherently greedy, therefore need to be abolished.
Like, he had a brand deal in his video, that he made before about building wells, and I wouldn't have really cared if he pocketed the money from the brand deal.
Yeah.
Yet so many people would have probably been so outraged if he did.
Well, I don't know. Was all that money gone to that? Because he said that the money raised from the video is going right back in to build more wells.
Does raised from the video mean ad revenue?
Or does it mean
I don't know.
Like, all these are good questions, but it's crazy.
It doesn't matter.
Ultimately.
Another one said, all these ultra popular internet celebrities going on and on about being canceled is so pathetic. You still have a platform on which you can post freely, and either way, everything you put out is immediately defended by an army of loser preteens and wannabe influencers.
Yeah.
And doing little philanthropic projects with your money, of which there is a lot, is not solving anything. It's helpful, but ultimately like putting a Band-Aid over a wound.
It's not his job to suture the wound and perform surgery. It's his job to run a business. If that business helps other people, that's great.
It's a little ridiculous to say that it didn't solve anything. Like, it solved this small problem in a small community. That is probably only a temporary solution, but it did something.
They would rather that he goes downtown and shout at random people and say, ice cream's so good.
I think they would rather he would be an activist and a protester.
Yeah, he should be going.
That's what they would want. That's what they think is meaningful in the world, is shouting and holding signs.
What they're saying is, like, why don't you go and destroy a famous multi-million-dollar painting in the name of stopping oil production? That's real activism.
Yeah. Another tweet said he has the brain of an 11-year-old. Another said, the new video is awesome and I love it, but this tweet just ruined it. What the F is wrong with you? Why would you tweet this? If you really didn't care, you wouldn't talk about it on Twitter, fishing for people to reply.
Again, he's doing it because he's trying to promote his most recent work. I want to point out that this is what I was talking about. This is what they want for activism, guys.
Why is no one stopping them?
Women did not get the vote by voting. It is time for deeds and not words. is failing us. Politics failed women in 1914. If millions will die due to new oil and gas licensing, millions! If we love history, if we love art, and if we love our families, we must just stop oil.
They're always so effeminate looking.
Are they mad that they're a painting with oil paint?
This is the activism that they want. This is he says, if you love art, you would just stop oil now, and in the meantime, you can't bring your family to a museum lest we destroy this priceless piece of art.
It's actually crazy that security didn't apprehend them. Through that whole video where they're screaming at everyone.
Like, even the photos of them, they just look like petulant children. Instead, MrBeast uses an incredible business model and infrastructure behind this massive company to help other people, but that's not the type of help they want. This is what they want you to do, because it sows discord in the public sentiment.
And I think you can argue that what MrBeast is doing is misguided, perhaps. Given that, you know, there are unintended consequences. Immediately what I thought is there's going to be some warlord or gang that claims this well that he built and make people pay for access to it, because that's the way that lawless societies operate. And I don't doubt that out of the 100 wells he built, that's going to happen to one of them. Or something breaks.
Upkeep,
what do you do when something breaks? Or the bridge that he built, it's only going to work for a temporary amount of time. But again, that's out of his scope of concern.
Nor is it his job.
And it's not his job.
It's not his job.
And they seemed perfectly happy to receive the help that he gave them, so whatever. Another person said, hey, Jimmy, remember me? I was the third African to get clean drinking water, but when I watched it back, I somehow got edited to look like I was the fourth. Would love for you to send me the raw footage so we can fix this.
Dude, I wish we had the tweets pulled up. It was, what was her name again? Was it Rosanna Pansino? Yeah, so she placed fourth or third, depending on who you ask, in Creator Clash, or in Creator.
No, it's an adult hide and seek game.
It was a literal game of adult hide and seek, and she talked about it like it was a Me Too allegation. And she's like, people have
I've been silenced for too long.
She's like, incredible women have been coming forward to share their stories with me. I'm like, there's multiple women with stories about placing fourth in adult hide and seek. That's insane, bro.
Anyways,
yeah, let's talk about.
On another front, MrBeast is also receiving hate because he talked about his standards for who he will date. He's now dating a girl named Thea Boysen, and he talked about how they met and how he vetted her to decide to date her. And he said she needs to share these niche interests that he has. She needs to be really into her hobbies. It's probably because he's so busy with his own stuff. He doesn't want someone to be clamoring for his attention all the time. Yeah. So let's watch the video before we pass any judgment.
Yep. Here we go.
This girl is beautiful. And then, but I have to go through the test because, like, I don't really get along with women if, like, they don't love learning, they're not obsessive, they don't have a hobby, they don't like their job. Like, there's just certain things where if you have these traits, we get along really well. Yeah. And if you don't, like, it's impossible for us to hang out. Yeah. So I had to put her through the ringer and start asking questions. Yeah. What do you do? And then she was like, I'm an author. And I was like, fuck yeah, good. She has a hobby. And then we started talking, and I just tried to get a feel if she likes learning. Like, you know, whatever. What do you like to do? You know, sounds cringe, but, you know, like what kind of content you consume. And it was more like documentary, educational, and like the type of stuff she does. And she has multiple degrees. You could tell she likes learning. Yeah. She's about to get a neuroscience degree just for fun, not even to get a job.
That's amazing.
Because, like, she invested in Bitcoin and did well, so she doesn't even, like, need it.
It's crazy how he can talk without moving his mouth.
all the boxes. And I had like these 10 things where, like, if I meat a girl that's like beautiful and they have these 10 traits, like, we're gonna be literally best friends. Right. Checked every single one of them.
Nice feet. Nice feet.
No, that was 11.
Okay.
I can give on that one. So yeah.
So
this girl is beautiful.
Domestic abuse campaigner named David Challen reposted this clip. It got millions of views. And he was very offended by it. He said, YouTube's biggest creator lists a tablet of commandments women must adhere to gain his interest. If you encounter a man like this, please just run. Powerful rich men creating behavioral interest tests for potential partners and labeling your job as a published author a hobby reeks of a lack of interest in independent thought beyond their own and a lack of respect of your career. James Stephen Donaldson, aka MrBeast, has a subscriber base of 206 million users on YouTube. His primary audience is under 25s, 67% of which are males. So yes, his views on relationships and women are very important when speaking in open forums and podcasts watched by young men.
He has
He
standards,
said,
and that's a problem, is what they're saying.
After this guy reasonably was dunked on for having such a ridiculous take, he said, muting this thread, but seems Jimmy's army, mostly men, shocker, are very angry about this. Many disputing the fact that Jimmy said it's difficult to find beautiful women who are nerds when he said it in that interview. So I guess he clipped him saying it's hard to find chicks who are also nerdy like him that are attractive. I can't believe that you can watch that clip and frame it as misogynistic.
You're not allowed to have standards if you're a guy. If you're a girl, it's yes, Queen Slay.
Because is this not what feminists want? What he said in this clip is he cares about the content of her character. He cares about her having hobbies and interests and having a business of her own, making her own money, being independent. She invested in Bitcoin, so she's got her own money. She doesn't need to gold dig off of him. Yeah. And presumably that means they're in a relationship that is purely based on chemistry and love.
Yes.
Which is the ideal in the feminist framing, right? Yeah. So why is he still getting hate for that?
Because he's talking about it as if these types of standards, I don't know what the proper answer should be for him here. I guess the proper answer should be that I would take any woman anytime because I'm not allowed to have, I have no idea.
I mean, he obviously said it matters that she is physically attractive, but would anyone dispute that?
They would say, look, he's anti-body positivity when it comes to dating.
I mean, if anything, this is a feminist answer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he wants her to be independent, intelligent, self-made, interesting, intelligent, worldly. He cares about all of those things more than he mentioned any physical attributes. So how is this dehumanizing
this
or
is a male feminist.
oppressive?
This is a guy who's saying this, right? This isn't the women that are dunking on him. This is a guy who's dunking on him.
I even saw a feminist praising him, saying this man has millions of dollars and fame. Notice what his list of demands are for a partner.
Also, I'm sorry. The word demands is loaded. It's a loaded term.
But she's praising him. She said, multiple degrees, including one in neuroscience, published author, lifelong love of learning, involved in active hobbies, has her own money from successful investments. Notice how he explicitly does not want a beautiful Walmart cashier or sexy waitress, because men with money and fame can always find a beautiful woman. They'll simply pick a beautiful woman who is also intelligent and accomplished in her own right, not a hot bum off the street.
Yeah, it's not like I guess the paranoid feminist take would be that he wants the Walmart cashier who's beautiful so that he can control her, right?
But clearly that's not
what he's saying.
The case.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's not what he's saying. This is why identity politics is so fruitful for so many people, is that you can, with enough words and enough mental gymnastics, you can reframe literally anything as bad. Anything can be framed as bad. If
you can be outraged by anything.
Yeah, anything it's possible to do that, right? And it's like he said I want to, what were some of the things he listed again? He said I want this
like she has to be interested in learning.
This is also the internet. He's like, she's an accomplished author. Like, well, what does he think about people who are librarians? Why doesn't he want to be with a librarian and not an author? It's whataboutism.
Right.
It's
honestly, I've seen Jeff Bezos get more criticism for who he's decided to marry than MrBeast, because Jeff Bezos is like in his juice head era dating this like muscle mommy bimbo.
But she's like a
For lack
helicopter.
of a better word.
She's like a helicopter pilot and has her own business. She's not a dummy either.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the woman.
Yeah, but
like just based on looks alone, when you're someone of MrBeast's caliber,
that's the other thing. What they don't like
you're
is
going to choose other people who are in your socioeconomic pool.
The
date.
men, what he's basically saying is he's ignoring the fact that men of the world today, who are not the gatekeepers to any type of sexual activity or relationship, a lot of men, if they're unaccomplished, if they haven't gotten where they want to get in life, if they're not taking care of themselves, they just take what they can get. Right? They take whatever they can get despite the flaws of that person. Man, woman, different, gay, straight, whatever. Right? If you don't, whereas women have endless options these days. And what he's saying is he's annoyed that he won't just take whatever he can get like a normal guy. He's not a normal guy. He's an extremely accomplished, extremely successful person who doesn't have to deal with what the average guy has to deal with in the dating market. Sad fact of life.
Also, if you're a woman, is it not insulting to think that you're dating a guy just because he settled for what he could get? Like, that would feel demeaning to know that.
Yeah.
It would also feel demeaning if he only valued a woman for her looks.
Yeah. See, here's my problem.
Are they just mad that she's pretty?
I don't even have a problem with that. Like, you as an individual, you have every right to have whatever standards, whatever criteria you want for dating. Nobody has a right to tell you otherwise. If all you want is a hot bimbo, that's your right to do that. And no one can tell you otherwise. That's preference. Is it smart? Is it the greatest idea in the world? Is it going to lead to long-lasting, fruitful relationships? Maybe, maybe not. Hell if I know.
He's not asking for advice.
But I know that I don't have a right to tell you. Do you remember when Riley, who said that you had to be into trans, like if you wouldn't have sex with a trans person, you were transphobic.
Oh, Riley Dennis?
Remember that?
It's been a while since I thought of that.
Remember that? Like, that say, like the people really do believe that they have a right to control who you're attracted to.
Yeah, which is
they
ridiculous.
don't, and that's insane. And it is also,
if you say things like that, you're overcompensating for some insecurity that you have. Clearly,
it's a complete denial of reality to imagine that this guy has to exist in the same dating pool as me, perhaps.
But also, like,
it's not the world, guys.
This
it's not the world we live in.
Kind of fly in the face of red pill ideology, which does say that men only care about looks and youth, and they don't care about a woman's accomplishments or her intellect or things like that. When clearly the wealthiest and most powerful men, they do care about those things. Yeah. So I guess as a woman, if it's your prerogative to bag one of those men in the 1% of the 1%, then you should focus on being an interesting person yourself. Yeah. Not just, getting plastic surgery and being as hot as possible.
In this situation, they're not talking necessarily about, like, then if the conversation comes to marriage and kids, that conversation changes dramatically.
I think that what they're grappling with is, yes, women are still the gatekeepers of sex, but they resent the fact that men are still the gatekeepers of commitment.
Yes.
And we can't have an honest conversation about that anymore. We have to walk on eggshells.
I just think it's funny imagining this guy has to play by everybody else's rules. Sad fact of life, folks. Money, status, power all change the rules in which you live in compared to the rest of the world. That's just how things are. So, all right, let's go to some super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, glad to see fake Tim didn't have the power to fire Mary. After all, we can't keep Brett in line all by ourselves. It's a full-time job. LOL, JK Brett.
I take offense to that personally. And I want to
It's not easy, but someone has to
just for that, Shane, I'm demanding I am once again asking for a crisis party.
Quite Blackpilled said, how I cut my sandwiches, it's complicated.
Okay. So maybe he's either he doesn't cut them at all, or maybe he cuts them. I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying they cut some types of sandwiches diagonally, some types of sandwiches.
It's literally complicated.
Horizontally. Could be any of them.
Yurishima Otaru said, Brett, how dare you leave us non-cutters out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let's do one more.
Christian said, "Are you excited for the new Planet of the Apes movie that is coming out in May?" I think that you asked us this already, or was that somebody else?
Might have been somebody else. I don't think they needed to make it personally. I was fine with it ending with whatever it was, War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't think it needed to be made personally. So not nearly as excited as I am for Reacher season 2, which comes out in December. I'll tell you that. All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. You want to tell us what the hell's going on with Swifties for Palestine?
So there is a faction of Swifties, Taylor Swift stans, that are enraged at the fact that their idol has not yet released an official statement on how she feels about the Israel-Palestine conflict. They're waiting with bated breath for her to post an Instagram infographic about how she supports Palestine. It's sort of like how the UN is just posting things like, "We condemn suffering." Like, I don't think that Taylor Swift releasing a statement would have any actual impact on world events.
The other question is, the other problem with that is, like, when they say something like that, somebody choosing not to make an infographic that says "we condemn suffering" does not mean that they in fact support suffering.
Right. Like,
that's insane.
But also, what value does it have to post that?
It does nothing.
You disagree with violence. Like, yeah, we knew that. Thank you. So Swifties for Palestine is the hashtag.
What somebody needs to start doing is whenever somebody posts stuff like that, they need to just put like a thanks Captain Obvious graphic up every time, rather than celebrating people who pay absolutely no effort to make low effort posts about virtue signaling causes. Just deride them.
This is why Taylor Swift is so much more intelligent than her competitors in the entertainment industry, because she has made the conscious decision not to post something in support of either side or some middling statement that is just like, violence is bad, guys, because it doesn't add anything to the conversation, and it only puts her in a liable position where half of her supporters are going to be mad at her and the other half are going to criticize the way that she worded it.
It helps her at not one bit. Like, not a single person gets helped.
There's no benefit
the people who
in
support
it for her.
The people that are supporting Israel that love her are not going to like it if she supports both sides. The people that that are supporting Palestine that love her aren't going to be happy if she supports both sides. Everyone will be annoyed. When you try to make everybody happy, you end up making nobody happy, and that's not good when you're in something that's as profitable a business as she has proved herself to be.
So this Stan account
there's a $50 super chat here
you.
from Micah Hegland. Says, "Sandwich crisis. I hope everyone is doing well." Well, I'm doing well now, my friend.
Thank
you gave us a crisis party. I would like to know, Micah, which way you cut your sandwiches. You could have said that in the super chat. I wish I had known. Should have let us know.
This Stan account tweeted, hashtag Swifties for Palestine, hashtag ceasefire now, hashtag free Palestine. Join us in calling Taylor Swift to sign the open letter, artistsforceasefire.org. Use your voice, take a stand, free Palestine, at Taylor Swift. We are calling on Taylor Swift. Yes, she's going to be the pop star who makes a statement and actually ends a war.
If Michael Jackson...
with the power of her clout alone.
If Michael Jackson couldn't save the world with We Are the World back in the 80s, then it ain't happening now, my friends.
No, it's not. Not in the age of social media, that's for sure.
Nope.
I don't understand what this would accomplish if she did comply, but it's true that her silence speaks volumes to... the fact that she's an intelligent businesswoman.
She's so much smarter than they give her credit for.
She makes decisions based on what's good for business, and this is not it.
Yep.
And also, like, people are reading into the fact that she went to dinner with one of the Hadids the other week, and also went to dinner with Selena Gomez, who has received backlash for not supporting Palestine unequivocally. But she's just living her life. She doesn't need to make a statement and have a stance like the Ryan Long video.
That's the problem, though. The internet has made it so that you have to have a stance all the time. You're not allowed to not have a stance.
This is why I said that if I woke up one day as Taylor Swift, that the first thing I would do is tweet the N-word probably, because it would just rock these people's worlds, because Taylor Swift is like a god to them. She can decree something and put it into action in their minds. She literally has the capability to end a war.
In the chat, somebody said We Are the World was the 90s. They said 93, 94. It says 84, British and Irish pop stars. So that was maybe that was a different one that I'm thinking of. I could be wrong. I guess I could be thinking of a different We Are the World.
Didn't they redo it?
In the 2010s for Haiti. Yeah. But yeah.
They're like, we condemn earthquakes.
Basically.
Like, it's so stupid.
And here's the other thing.
Such a virtue signal.
That is more, when I was talking about the MrBeast thing, right? That's what they think works. They think a bunch of celebrities getting together and making a music video where they all basically try to look really, really cool and really, really virtuous.
We're looking at you, Gal Gadot.
Well, a bunch of money is funneled through some shifty charity that may or may not have made its way to the place in question, right? That's what Americans think of as altruistic giving back.
Right.
Not actually going and doing something.
This reminded me also of a major historical landmark in Swiftie history. Taylor Swift updates on Twitter disappeared for a while and came back saying that she got arrested.
85. It was not the 90s.
She said, as most of you know, I haven't been very active in the past couple of months because I was in prison. I'm back now, though. More Taylor Swift updates coming soon. Someone asked her why she was in prison, and she said it's because she refused to join the IDF. LMAO.
Well, also they were saying there was a rumor going around that she pulled her movie from Israel, that she pulled the Eras Tour film from Israel, and that was not true. She would never do that.
Well, why would that be, like boycotting?
Yeah, they were saying that she was. So it says, however, they were having technical issues in snapping up tickets for this week's film, and it started a bunch of people starting a conspiracy theory that the reason that they were not able to get tickets was because the movie had been pulled because she was showing support for Palestine.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would never do that. But I do want to. I want to be a fly on the wall in her conversations about it.
Yeah.
Just to see like what her motivations are behind not posting these things. Like, is it because she's just afraid of backlash, or is it because she's really taken a principled stance that she's not going to get into politics like that?
No, it's not a principled stance. It's a business stance. She understands that posting it would have literally no positive effect. It only hurts her.
But what was the positive effect of her becoming politically outspoken in 2020 or in 2018?
Way different. You have the evil Donald Trump, who her fan base will coalesce around no matter what. This issue divides your fans. It does not grow it in any way, shape, or form. Put it this way. People who support Israel and people who support Palestine both come together to support not Donald Trump. This issue takes all of those people and fractures them.
But if the average Swiftie had more than 2 brain cells to rub together, then they might reflect on that a little bit and think, hey, maybe it wasn't the most genuine sentiment that she was posting back in 2020 about Donald Trump. Maybe she was saying that to make money off of me.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Micah. And thank you, Ian. Look, the American right is a boogeyman for them that the entertainment industry can use to rally people around. She divides people here because both of these.
Did she ever make a statement on Ukraine? I didn't see anybody getting mad at Taylor Swift because she didn't make a statement about Ukraine.
I feel like we would have at least mentioned it, right? If it had been made.
So I don't remember that.
She's also, maybe she's like, look, I'm too busy making this bread.
I mean, she literally is.
She's like, I'm too busy making millions of dollars a minute to worry about what's going on. And she's like, wait, is that going to stop me from performing in that country? Do I have to take like that? That's the only reason this would come up.
She might not.
That would be the only reason this would come up, is if she was going to perform.
But she would have the excuse like, oh, it's a safety concern,
Yeah.
whatever. Also, I just wanted to mention this. Remember when we talked about the job posting for a full-time Taylor Swift reporter at USA Today? Well, they found the guy. They hired a full-time Swiftie reporter, journalist.
Do what you love and you never work a day in your life.
Truly, this guy seems like the happiest person on earth, and I genuinely feel good like about his success.
Yeah.
I feel happy for him.
I'm
is all he
surprised they
wanted.
gave it to a white male.
Well, he's gay,
Yeah.
so that gotta count for something.
Okay. I really thought it would be a pumpkin spice loving basic ass white woman that would have gotten this job.
I know that there were many in the running, but they chose him, and he's deserving of it. He seems like a very happy, normal NPC.
I'm very envious of the happy normal.
But with things like this happening, Swifties for Palestine, he might not want to report on the controversies.
it's so funny if he ends up like in a war zone.
Yeah, like
He's like, I'm here in the West Bank reporting on the local Swifties for Palestine group that's holding a rally here in the heart of Gaza.
we're thinking of you, Brian West.
Don't forget that she was
Stay
also.
safe out there.
People thought that she was on 4chan back in 2013. Do you remember the Always Sunny GIF?
Yes.
This I want you to look at this, and if you wonder how when people make fun of QAnon, just remember that there are people who look at stuff like this, and this is their proof that Taylor Swift was on 4chan back in the day.
If you circle things enough and you draw
Arrows.
enough red arrows,
it should be thread. If this was in the real world, this would be on a bulletin board, and it would be thread drawn from thing to thing. But yeah, it's basically this is the proof they're saying that she was a 4chan lurker back in 2013. She didn't have the time to do it back then either.
no.
She does not have the time to do this.
But the photo of her in the tour bus with the same blinds in the background, it's pretty damning.
It says, a user invites the board to ask him or her questions claiming they are one of the 50 most famous people on the internet. After prodding, the user claims they are famous for being an entertainer. Similarities in photo backgrounds. One photo with a girl confirmed as Swift from a video she posted previously, and a second photo cut off at the eyes of an unidentified girl with a striking resemblance to the pop singer. That is this one.
You gotta zoom in.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the cat.
No one can see it.
Nobody can see it back there, but they did their research, and those Swifties, they love their Easter eggs. So I completely
She says
buy.
like 4chan named her cat Meredith. They came up with the name.
It would be the weirdest thing in the world if, like, on her deathbed, she's like, "In my old cat, it was from my 4chan days."
We already know Doja Cat was on 4chan.
She's just like Taylor Swift is like secretly a groiper.
Probably not.
No, it's just it's crazy. Like I don't think any of this is true, but I do love that people are that passionate about something that they go and they look for stuff that probably isn't there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's there. So
Okay,
all right,
let's go to
let's
Super
do it.
Chats. Jacob Edler said, reject the sandwich, embrace the wrap. Tortillas pack smaller, keep longer, make no crumbs, hold things together, and can be used in more ways than sliced bread. Astronauts use them, bread of the future.
That's actually a pretty bold take. I do like tortillas. Recently, so when I was on IRL, like 3 weeks, whenever Blair White was on, and they like had Blair White eat an MRE.
They
And it was-
did?
yeah, and it was
Why?
it was not one of the good ones either. But then Tim ordered like new MREs, and there was like a taco MRE in there, and I went and scooped it up immediately and ate it because a taco MRE tastes just like an old Lunchable taco Lunchable, which was the greatest, most amazing delicacy that's ever been created. You're actually probably too young to have
Yeah.
ever tasted the exquisite goodness that was the taco Lunchable. It was
I did
incredible.
not.
It was incredible.
I had the pizza Lunchable.
Those are good too. Those are good
They're
too.
not.
They're-
Don't lie.
Those are good too. Love them.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'd probably give it a watch, but I'm more interested in season 2 of Terminal List. Prime has been pretty good with these style of shows.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of stark differences between Terminalist and Reacher that spoke more to my taste, and this might be why me and him see it differently. Is like Reacher had they peppered in a few more moments of levity with his dry humor. You even saw it in the trailer there. Like, he has that deadpan delivery. It's like, I don't know how to hit soft. Like, there's like that style of humor that works in that show, which I feel does a good job of releasing the tension of the mystery at incremental points, and it speaks to Alan Ritchson's talent as an actor to be this big, bulky, hulking dude who can also deliver that humor in the midst of serious action situations. But Terminalist is obviously, if you're more for the straight kind of grim action, like, I would put Terminalist tonally closer to a Sicario than something like Reacher.
The pilot of Terminalist was too depressing for me. I checked out.
It's literally like you watch it, and it's kind of like how I felt when I would watch the Kenneth Branagh show Wallander, where I'm watching it and I'm like, I can feel the Prozac prescriptions piling up from the people watching it. I like that because that's more European, that's Eurocentric television, so it fits. Like, when I go in to watch a show like that, I know what I'm getting into. Like, okay, I don't take antidepressants, but maybe, just put yourself in an extra happy mood before you go watch it to even yourself out by the time you're done.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Bertidwell said, check out the Discord at 6 for Midday Rush Live. We need a celebrity guest picker for B or Not. What?
I would need to know what is B or Not.
I don't know.
I'm usually still editing and working at 6. If I could help, I would. But sometimes I show up to the 7:00 show and peek in there and listen to what they're saying. I always enjoy that.
Shane H. Wilder said, I don't purchase NFTs. I purchase Superchats.
There you go.
Far more valuable, obviously.
There might be some bias there. Just a little bit. Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after the fact. What the hell is going on over there in Bravo land?
Okay. After many months of investigation, interviewing cast members, interviewing production staff, Vanity Fair has released this gigantic novel-length expose on the Bravo network and the Real Housewives cinematic universe, titled Inside the Real Housewives Reckoning That's Rocking Bravo. Amid disturbing allegations, Bethany Frankel's calls for a union and a whole lot of drinking, reality TV's most popular stars are facing their demons. And, they're really trying to get you to take it seriously. This is a bunch of women in their 30s to 60s who are ultra rich and privileged celebrities, essentially.
Yep.
Paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to drink and go out to restaurants and go on vacation and start drama.
Yep.
And they are sincerely asking you for your sympathy. And here's how it starts. The housewife woke up in her own urine. She was still drunk from the night before when she'd had 3 drinks at dinner, another 3 or 4 with her co-stars, and an indeterminate but debilitating amount of mezcal after her castmates went to sleep. The house had been fully stocked when they arrived.
Of course.
So basically they're claiming that they have been exploited, and the Bravo network uses breakdowns and promotes their mental deterioration for drama and storylines, which if you have watched reality television at all,
that's why people watch it.
You know that's why you watch. That is the whole appeal of it. And if you sign up for that, it's for the paycheck and the clout, and you know what you're getting into. Yep. However, the housewives are very honest about making that trade-off. I think that they know what they're getting into is extremely damaging and unhealthy for their psyche. But they're super honest about just wanting the money and the clout.
There's something wholesome about that.
I know. It says, according to one anonymous housewife, if you go to the whorehouse, you're gonna get effed. She knows what you think, that if you sign up to be on a Bravo reality show, you deserve what you get, and she agrees. If we do this, it's at our own peril. We know that, and we don't effing care. I like really appreciate the honesty.
In a world where everybody has to like virtue signal endlessly or pretend like their work has higher art and meaning, I like the complete nonchalantness of their vacuous attitude. I love it.
Yeah, another quote, if you were the most successful housewife ever, you would not be able to chart it without also charting absolute emotional destruction, public humiliation, divorce, death, crime, prison, shame, misogyny, and an onslaught of pure hate. And they're like, count me in.
Sign me up.
They let you get a 6-figure paycheck to go on a week-long vacation. That's called Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah.
Literally count me in. I would do this.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not a real housewife in her 40s who owns a mansion.
But you have something to look forward to one day.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get there. So the question is, why do they decide to stay? They say it's a promotional machine unlike anything you can buy. Another said money and clout.
I love it.
Keep it simple.
I love it. Somehow I feel like Gwyneth Paltrow should be producing the show.
She's far too buttoned up.
Yes.
She keeps her image far too clean
I'll
and prim and proper.
I will tell you this, though. It's on her DVR.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's her guilty pleasure.
She watches
for sure.
this. She watches it, and then every time she's done, she feels guilty and dirty. And then she like showers and then does it again.
And eats tofu.
And then does it again.
And green juice.
Yes.
So the main points of this, one of them claims that the producers of the show wanted her to relapse into alcoholism as part of the storyline, and they put her down for her sobriety. Their official policy for cast members is, you're adults, you make your own decisions about consuming alcohol. We're not going to impose maximums on you. And we're not going to...
Are there minimums?
That's what
I want to know. Are there
minimums? If you don't want to drink at all, which there are some cast members who do not drink at all, that's perfectly your decision to make, but you still have to be entertaining. So if you can't be entertaining without drinking...
Well, to be fair...
that's on you.
I have made the point several times that I am very happily sober for several years now. But I do believe that I would be way better at this job if I was not. I do. I believe that if I was still a mess, I would be. I would not be as good at the consistency that's required to do it every day. But the show itself would be a breeze if I was just numb to the core every single day.
They are like getting blasted on espresso martinis, not hard drugs.
And mine wasn't alcohol. So like if I was still able to, like, because people will point out, like somebody was talking in the chat yesterday, like Brett doesn't need caffeine. He's naturally hyper or over the top. It's like, see, that's the thing. If I was able to counter that with all the drugs that I used to pump into my system,
it would be like limitless.
It would be incredible for the show. The problem is it would force me to self-destruct at an extremely fast rate. And I'm sure there's at least somebody in this chat who hates my guts that would love to see that happen. But
might I add, you would be great at doing drugs.
Yes.
Brett Dasovic to Mary Morgan,
I did
2023.
Say that. I did say that. I said you'd be fantastic at it. I didn't say do it. I said you'd be great at it.
I know.
But you shouldn't do it. It's bad for you.
Another point here is something that we've already talked about. Bethany Frankel, who is probably the most famous housewife, has moved on from the production, and she's trying to start a union like SAG-AFTRA, but for reality television stars, anybody who's in unscripted programming.
Imagine something with even less sympathy than SAG.
Like, I got to applaud that. You know, it's a feat in and of itself. So Frankel posted a now infamous TikTok in which she grapples with assailing a grieving widow for TV and calls it a reality reckoning. In addition to her stated goal of securing future rights for cast and crew with input from SAG-AFTRA, Frankel says she's planning to meet with network and streaming executives about improving conditions on reality productions. And all that amounts to is provide us with free therapy or something like that.
Which they can afford themselves.
These women are super rich and have all the resources in the world to recover from doing this show if they need it.
Yeah.
They can pay for their own therapy.
Well, that's what's annoying.
They're asking Andy Cohen, who runs Bravo, to be their dad.
Yeah.
And it looks ridiculous because it
Woman
is.
cap. This is the same the type of thing that happens when when the actors are asking for it on set and stuff like that. I'm like, really?
Okay, this is funny. Presented with the idea that she might participate in Bethany Frankel's organization, housewife Ebony Williams said, F Bethany Frankel. You think I'm gonna let some white girl speak for me with my experience with a multi-billion-dollar corporation? So I guess they really can't find solidarity after all.
To be fair, like if you really think about it from these corporations' perspective, you're all peons to them, no matter what your skin color is, and you're all disposable. You as a black woman and her as a white woman are just as disposable to Andy Cohen as any of these people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they definitely know what they're getting into just in the contracts that they sign because they quoted it here. Their talent contracts state that the appearance, actions, and statements of cast members may be of private, surprising, defamatory, disparaging, embarrassing, offensive, or otherwise unfavorable or injurious nature, and may be factual or fictional, and may expose cast members to public ridicule, humiliation, and condemnation, and may portray cast members in a false light.
Also titled, What People Want to See.
Exactly. So the $1 million question is, can we make reality entertainment humanely?
No.
And one of the housewives literally said you can't. She said, have you ever seen what it takes to train a Navy SEAL or become a professional athlete? There is nothing humane about the process to do it. And there is nothing humane about the game of football. And I effing love it. So they know that it takes drunkenness, debauchery, and psychological torture to make good reality entertainment.
What was the wait?
And
what
they
was
love
the one,
it.
What was the one we were talking about? Was it Love Is Blind, where they were plied with alcohol and then they were like they were like,
boo-hoo.
No food for you.
Whatever. Solve your own problems.
Mary's like, I could do that without being paid. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Like, I don't need to be paid to do that. That's fantastic.
Bethany Frankel said that when she first read her contract, she decided, I can navigate this. I'm just a different breed. I'm built different. I was a prostitute at the highest rate possible and was aware that there was a transaction that was happening and I was going to benefit from it. And as an adult, those are the trade-offs that you are responsible for making.
Yep.
Okay? Another housewife said, you're not in your right mind and you want to give them good TV. The whole point of these shows is to get us unhinged.
Yep. They got to do what they got to do to get it done, right?
So either dispose of reality television entirely as a genre or put up with the consequences.
It will never go away. It's too cheap to make and it's too successful.
So I think reality television is trying to avoid becoming woke.
When we talk about Taylor Swift movies or the Barbie movie, women have always had their entertainment. It's this and soap operas, right? And it's there for them.
And house flipping.
And HGTV and the Property Brothers, right? Like that's what women love to watch.
And YouTubers.
I always love those memes. It says like I'm unemployed. My husband breeds salamanders. Budget 1.3 million for the house or something like that. That's I always wondered where those budgets came from for those people who's like, I'm a teacher and my husband breeds salamanders.
Well, according to someone who was on that show, they make you close on a house before you look at the other options.
So you have to make your choice first. I wonder how many people have done that. They get real buyer's remorse after they find a better house.
Oh, they also set you up with a fake significant other if yours isn't interesting enough.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
And I bet you,
so everything in reality television is fake
I bet
to some degree.
A lot of those guys just get replaced because they're just not interesting enough. It's like because you know what? He's a computer programmer. He makes good money, but he's a computer programmer. He's a
bit of a dolt.
He likes what he likes, and it's not great for television, right?
He doesn't have strong opinions about The Jack and Jill bath.
Hey, look, you can make it in the world without strong opinions. Look at me. I don't have strong opinions on anything.
Now, aside from all of this, there are also accusations of anti-blackness, use of the N-word, and racial hostility, according to the first Black housewife of New York, Ebony Williams. She says that she was brought onto the show coincidentally after 2020.
We got a $50 super chat here again from Micah Hegland. It says, Bravo is the drama. I don't have it in my real life. When sandwiches get cut horizontally, only Horizons will have sandwiches. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was almost art right there.
Poetic.
That was
truly.
fantastic. Yeah, like
that's true. It's for people who don't have drama and debauchery in their own lives to escape into it for a minute.
You live vicariously through these people.
Yeah.
You're like, I wish I could say that to somebody at my work. F that guy.
So after 2020, after the Summer of Love, I think that Bravo was like, how can we make our network more racially equitable? So they decided to hire the first Black housewife of New York, as well as the first Black female producer on that season in 2021.
Yeah.
And they essentially went through what is known in the business as a Zoom call struggle session with multiple consultants from NGOs on the call as well to talk about, what you're not allowed to say on the show.
Yeah.
And one of those examples was you can't put out like racial stereotypes, like the idea that Black fathers aren't involved in their children's lives. And Ramona Singer,
That's who said it, right?
That's not the one who said it. It was an example that they give to something you shouldn't say when you're airing.
Yeah.
So Ramona Singer, one of the oldest veteran Real Housewives in her 60s, was a little taken aback by that, I guess. She thought, why can't I say that? She says most of them don't. She said, what if they don't have a father? Why can't I say that?
It's just such a thing that a person in their 60s says.
And so the Black housewife on the Zoom call got very offended. They started going in a back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that. I have strong feelings about crisis parties.
Yeah.
That's what I have strong feelings about. I have strong feelings about that, ladies and gentlemen. I do. And and somebody pointed out Mocha. Yes, I do have strong feelings about Mocha the derpy cat getting no love here.
Yeah.
Ever.
So they get into a back and forth. Whoa.
Keep going.
They get into a back and forth on the Zoom call. And the Black housewife, Ebony, says something about her white fragility and explains the term. She eventually hangs up on the call. And according to one person who was still on the call, Ramona Singer proceeded to slam her hands on the table and say the following: "This is why we shouldn't have Black people on the show. This is gonna ruin our show." And she wholly denies that she ever said this.
That happened? Do you think he said that?
If only one person on like a 30-person call remembers it happening, I feel like it's a lie.
It's made up.
But there were other things said about Ramona Singer that she allegedly told a Black female production assistant, "There are so many of you guys here now. Please don't change your hair. I'm gonna have trouble remembering anybody's names."
Ugh.
Ramona Singer defended herself, insisting that comment merely spoke to her inability to remember names.
I mean, that's one of those things that there's certain things that annoy me that get brought into identity politics like that. Like, here's one thing that really annoys me. When people claim that you not knowing how to pronounce someone's name is because you're racist.
That's
I'm like,
stupid.
bro, people have been getting my Dasovic wrong for my entire life. And that's not because somebody doesn't. First of all, you know when that stuff started happening? Over the phone on cold calls when nobody knew what you looked like, right? So pronouncing someone's name wrong does not mean they feel some kind of way about what you look like. That's ridiculous.
And the news... the meme pages are saying that Vanity Fair breaks the news adults drink and Ramona is racist.
And she got like cut from some events recently, and they wouldn't address her because
they have something called BravoCon, which is an in-person convention for people who are fans of the Real Housewives.
So I've got an idea. Are you ready?
What?
Next year, here's the thing: we're gonna go to BravoCon, and we're gonna start a boxed wine company, and we are gonna set up our booth in BravoCon and just print money.
Well, Bethany Frankel already started Skinny Girl Cocktails and is making millions off of it. So she might have
beat us to it.
Beat you to
I really feel like
there.
Like what we need to do is we need to start a boxed wine company and get it in stores and like somehow have it sold next to the Real Housewives merch. Right next to it.
Yeah.
Be great.
We would fit right in.
Be great. Cuz out here you can't buy like whiskey or hard liquor at a gas station, but you can buy wine and beer at like gas stations in Walmart, right?
Depends.
So like I think what we need to do is we need to get a wine company and put it right next to the Housewives merch and just reap the rewards.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Great. I'm not going to quote Ramona Singer's use of the N-word because that would be a horrible idea. We're on YouTube. But yeah, I think that the report failed to conjure any sympathy from the audience of the show. They know that what they're watching is people having mental breakdowns, getting dangerously drunk,
yeah,
endangering their own well-being and psychological well-being.
I love
for entertainment value.
I love the idea that they're
thing.
it's like when the actors brag about method acting and they're like, I got so into the character, I lost like 80 pounds. She's like, I got so wasted. She's like, I had to take this scene.
I mean, I
just
like,
got bombed.
It's no one else's fault if you think that you can't be entertaining without getting insanely drunk. Like, that's an adult issue that you solve on your own.
Yes.
It is not their responsibility. But there are other reality shows that have imposed drinking maximums on contestants, like on Love Island. They only let you have 2 units of alcohol per day.
What the hell is a unit
Island.
of alcohol?
Probably a shot.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. And they also are responding to that because 2 contestants from Love Island, as well as their main host, committed suicide in a short period of time, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So they just felt like they had to do something.
It's clearly mentally taxing on people to do this stuff. It's just crazy that it's like...
But like, make your own judgments if you're cut out for it or not.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy that that's like what they've accepted as doable, because look, they used to be, I don't know if they still are, I assume they are, they're pretty strict about like these things on movie sets, right? Like not back in the day, but you're not just like, if you got to do 50 takes of something, you're drinking fake alcohol. You're not drinking real alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of great, like, I remember it was like White Collar was talking about, like, because in the show, his character drinks wine a lot. It's like, he's like a wine connoisseur. He's like, the problem is it's always grape juice. And then, like, you drink it and then you're actually getting wired from all the sugar and it's not actually doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Just let the people. Now, know what this sadly did? It made me want to watch reality TV. I never will.
Does it make you want to watch Real Housewives?
I never will. Like, I would be more likely to watch Property Brothers before I would watch like Real Housewives.
I admittedly don't watch Real Housewives, but I like my fair share of reality TV and reality TV drama. And I know
it hits
going
it's
into
so
it
good for
what
women.
it entails.
So good for women. It hits
it's an
them
outlet.
right in there. It hits them right in their psyche, right where they need to get it. Like, you just know that many fights between friends have been started because they got amped up watching an episode of Real Housewives. She's like, yeah, Becky has been a bitch, huh? And she's just like,
I hope not.
And she calls her friend.
I hope that watching other people create drama is enough of an outlet that you don't need to create drama in your own life.
You would hope, but I imagine that it amps up some of them, and she's like, I'm gonna go call her and tell her about how much of a bitch our friend is being, right?
Ultimate lesson here is adults make their own decisions, and I definitely give them the credit they deserve for being honest about why they do the show.
Yep. In the chat, P. Tran says, just watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I have been, actually. This
that's
year,
a wholesome one.
This year, I went on like this. I'm not sure. You might not have been on the show. I went on like a binge of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives because it is the last great Americana.
You talked about it.
It's so wholesome and it's so pro-America. In the early seasons, I was pointing out, like when you're watching the early seasons, there's no cell phones around. It's great. Everyone should watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. The problem is, I watch it and then I get super hungry, and then I
watch it and I'm like, there's not enough drama.
I love the not drama part of it, but I watch it and I'm like, now I need to go eat something, and I'm already fat.
That's why I like Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen.
There you go. You just know somebody's like, what if we had like Real Housewives and Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and we mush them together like this, and that's how Gordon Ramsay was born.
Yeah, a recent episode of Kitchen Nightmares, he went to this restaurant and there are it's like a family business, and the sons are TikTokers. They won't help with the restaurant. They just want to make TikToks. And I didn't see their father around. So Gordon Ramsay, like, literally gives them a Jordan Peterson bucko lecture about how they're snowflakes and they need to step up or else.
Gotta do it, man. Otherwise, you're never gonna make.
He literally called them snowflakes. It was awesome.
I think my favorite is the meme that says it's like me. It's the Joker putting on the makeup and says me going to my loser job knowing there's a 6-year-old YouTuber making $60 million a year. There are the kid YouTubers.
Or his mom is.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's finish these super chats. Disco Jensen said, make asylums great again. I'm right there with you.
Could we do that? Thanks, Reagan. It's all his fault, right?
Fresh Meat said, just love the show. My Mondays feel like Fridays thanks to me listening the next day. Keep up the good work, Brett and Mary, full of grace. I think he called you Bray.
Bray. That's okay. Bray Wyatt was cool, so I'm okay with that.
Shane H. Wilder said, the reason for cats sitting in boxes goes back to an ancient feline law that states, if I fits, I sit.
Exactly. If it fits, it sits.
Culture Casino said, philanthropy is just another form of business promotion. The side effects are potentially beneficial. Oftentimes, benefits are short-lived.
Yes, and thank you, Culture Casino. He's got a great YouTube channel. You guys should go and check him out. But yeah, I think that speaks to what you were saying earlier, right? Which is like, it makes for great content in the here and now. And what it does is it gives the person watching an emotional release to watch it, a connection. But what really lasts from these types of things? Like, who knows? Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Nobody wants to watch the video. Like, that's the problem. We're in a deconstructionist time. Like, there's going to be some documentary. It's going to be like the destructive path of MrBeast and all the problems he caused with his philanthropy. And it's going to be awful and depressing. I don't want to watch that shit. Get that shit off my screen.
Nobody watches Hoarders Buried Alive or My 600-Pound Life to see a redemption arc. Bang Bang Lulu said, hot with just a little bit of tism on top. That's what it takes to be Mrs. Beast.
I think that's what I said off air. I said, it's adorable. It's good.
Saltonio Banderas said, I cut my club sandwiches in triangles.
Damn.
Ninja Emus said, I wonder how T Swift's private chef cuts her sandwiches. I bet she is a horizontal cut with crust removed.
That's a very interesting. I think she eats bread that's literally so good it doesn't have crust to begin with.
I don't think she eats bread. She's very slender.
Yes. So you think she's just, what is she in like she's keto then?
I don't know.
Keto Swift?
We need a what Taylor Swift eats in a day.
Oh gosh.
TikTok.
It's like the most toxic thing I can think of. I eat 13 grapes.
She eats 13 of everything.
It's like
13 M&Ms, 13 grapes. Roma Nation said only psychos cut their sandwiches straight. # Team D.
Yes, for the most part.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, I just learned about a metal We Are the World called Stars by a supergroup called Hearinade. The video for it is peak cringe.
I'll have to check it out.
I'm not going to read this. Username said Lunchables are just MREs for kids.
They are. They really are just MREs for kids with none of like the nutritional content that are packed into MREs.
Are MREs just Lunchables for adults?
I think MREs came first, so technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last of my kind, said Bill Burr, said diagonal cut sandwiches with chips in the middle is love. Cut horizontally is like, here, eat your scraps, you filthy animal.
I mean, fair enough. Like, those are the type of things that we've that we've romanticized. The same way that we romanticize the red cups from Pizza Hut.
Okay. I think that a diagonal cut sandwich with crinkle cut kettle chips.
Okay.
And a cold glass of Coca-Cola is what everyone dreams about.
Probably. It's like what you just said.
But I don't even drink Coca-Cola,
Coca-Cola.
And it like makes it sound appetizing to me.
Yeah. It's like the
That
meme
setup.
where it's like there's a meme, it's like a bunch of kids running out of a pool and it says like your mom just made a sandwich with chips in the middle. This is as good as life is going to get.
Sometimes I would put chips on my sandwich.
A lot. That's what he's talking about here.
Yeah.
Is you put the chips on the sandwich. I ended the poll, ladies and gentlemen, given that question, and you have voted. You have spoken because you guys have a voice. You say diagonal is the way to cut your sandwich. 59% say diagonal. 40% say horizontal. The rest, I'm sure plenty of people didn't answer because they didn't like the fact that there wasn't a third option.
DCNC said, please Google image search fairy bread. Australian delicacy, mandatory diagonal slices. The Dutch claim this recipe as their own. Don't believe their lies. Everything else, whatever, man.
I'm not Googling fairy bread.
I'll Google it and vet it for you. Oh, I've seen this. It's white sliced bread spread with butter and covered in sprinkles.
Sounds good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound good at all.
Sprinkles don't sound good.
Why would you put sprinkles on bread?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm sure there's a deep fried version of it now, or like an air fryer version of it now.
Gross.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder
I'm putting it on
said,
screen so people can see it.
Yeah. That doesn't look appetizing. Sorry. Shane H. Wilder said, bravo, promoting debauchery and drama on a reality show. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
That is absolutely shocking.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, property bros and these flip home shows make me laugh out loud. Most so-called new flippers lose big money. These shows don't show the real numbers on the back end.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, we know how the world really works, and if you fall into this trap of seeing like, I saw it on TV, therefore I can do it. Obviously that's not the way the world works. There's a big super chat there from Roma Nation.
Did we miss that one?
I think it just came through. It says paid $50 in total to say hashtag justice for Mocha, hashtag OC's house. I'm assuming he means Olivia Claire. My friends, you can super chat all you want. And I understand that Olivia has had Justice for Mocha stickers made, in which those will be used to fund super chats to yell at us. You can do that all you want. I will not be putting Mocha the derpy cat in his her derpy tongue on this screen
and
again.
You misgender.
And I misgendered again. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I'm a man of principle. I am.
The ninja from Pop Culture Planet said Bryan Cranston was in the episode. Drive, directed by Vince Gilligan on X-Files. That was my favorite episode as a kid. It was Speed, but for aliens.
And that makes sense too, because Vince Gilligan went on to do Breaking Bad, which is Bryan Cranston. So it's great stuff.
I still like Bryan Cranston better in Malcolm in the Middle than Breaking Bad.
I saw people arguing. Okay, so I saw people arguing on Twix today. I think Lauren, when she said like, I'm just gonna say it, Breaking Bad wasn't good, and. Like, the comments went hard.
I never watched it.
It's that's just one of those ones you're not really allowed to criticize. It's kind of like The Dark Knight. You're not really allowed to say it's not good. Like I said, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying you have your right to not like something. And if you say you don't like it, it's like when I say that I like Batman Begins more than The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises. They're like, how is that possible? Well, I can tell you how it's possible because it's the one I like. Sorry. It's the way it is. All right, guys, before we go, I think we got to all of them there. I hope I didn't miss any. I would like to ask all of you to please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. All right, guys, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Twix and on Instagram at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would like to listen to this show rather than watch it. And if you would like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show. That's where you submit your pet of the, your cute of the day, hashtag PCC pets, tag popculture_show there. We will feature it on the show. Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis. We're on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.